Literally, the number one question I get from clients all the time, or it's a very common theme right now, is how do I make sure that I'm telling this part of my story in my business through the lens of power, personal power? Because these things happened and I want to show myself as the phoenix rising, as the victor. And even though I've done the healing and I've moved through the things, I still feel that in my writing or my live streams, the way that I'm showing up, that there's like this little tinge of victimhood. And this is something that it's really hard to flip the mirror and be objective around your own content and messaging. This is something that we do inside Story Codes and obviously my story mentorship with private clients. There's an entire module on 3D to 5D consciousness. We look at all the levels of consciousness and how you're speaking to someone, whether they are in the 3D state, which is obviously where we live, and this is the victim consciousness. This is the pain point marketing. It's when someone is in survival and fear and asleep and filling the void and finding a solution, right? Then we move into the 4D, the 3D is like why this is happening to me. The 4D then moves into choice of thought, of opening up your expansion of how is this happening for me? And then the 5D is I am co-creating. How am I co-creating with the universe? This is like when you trust in source, you trust in self. There's a divine remembrance, a soul remembrance of who you are. There's sovereign decisions. And it's so important that we're speaking what we know who we are speaking to. And there's no right or wrong. Just because you're speaking to the 3D doesn't mean you're speaking to like a victim-y type of client. We don't want to miss. You might actually work with people who are in a state of fear, and that is okay. You just want to have the right messaging. But maybe you want to work with someone who is on a more elevated level of consciousness. This is not hierarchy. This is just understanding that they have a different way of thinking. I can tell when people come to me and they're wanting to invest, when they're like, I don't know if this is going to work for me because they're not trusting in the universe. They're in the 3D, 4D, right? But I have other clients who come to me and they're like, I believe so wholeheartedly in what I stand for and what I'm putting out to the world. Like I am co-creating. This is like, and they're just like it's just a different mindset. It's a different level of consciousness. And it's really key to understand these levels when you're working with people. So come and join the Story Codes because I break this down in more depth, more examples, and show you, teach you how to tell more powerful stories through the lens of personal power.